Right, pattern number 3. Here we go. This one's fun. This one I call is the fan. This one's always one that I've been hiding inside of my pieces for a long time. So at first it might not look like much. You don't know what it is, but at the end when it all comes together, it's definitely a pattern I really love to do. I enjoy it. So this one, so on number 3. So let's go ahead and do a number 3. Again, we're gonna do it right in the middle, about 1 to 2 inches, so we can leave space. So any 3 you want, you can go ahead and just write it in there, and then from there, I'll just add a little something to the 3 to make it look a little different. So boom, boom, and there's our 3. So 1, 2, 3. You know the drill. We're gonna protect that 3. So we're gonna protect that 3 at all costs. So we are gonna set up our borders, our door. We're gonna protect everything around it. We do not want anything getting in there. We wanna be able to see that 3 after the pattern is done. So like you can see on 1 and 2, if we had any of these lines touching it, it would break that pattern up. So let's do that again, and then we're gonna work on our outside lines where we go all the way down. We're gonna break this into our box 3. So we're gonna gather all these. This is a great time to work on your line control and going down best you can. So once you have your pattern 3, should look like that. It's pretty cool. We got there's gonna be probably, this is gonna have hands down the most white, because a lot of the other ones are gonna start coming together and getting packed inside of there. So let's go ahead and do our fans. So on this one, we're gonna start in a corner. So I will start over here, and we're basically just gonna do, let's do that to all 4 of them. Let's make that easy for all of them. Okay, so we're gonna just do this. We're gonna make it so all those have, almost looks like a frame or a card or something, okay? And then this is where it's gonna really start fanning out. So from there, now we're just gonna go right in the middle, and we're gonna start making just random, give it some space, because we're gonna actually work on the inside. So don't do these too small, don't do them too big, just kind of find that middle ground where you're comfortable, and we're just gonna make these almost like bubbles coming off, and they're just gonna kind of keep going. So you can turn them around, and I like to split them up, because if you keep going like that, then they'll just all look the same. So I like to split these things up, make them all kind of crazy, any which way that they want to go, and then we will have these ones are kind of fun. I like these for some reasons, but yeah, let these just kind of come together. You want to have a bottom, and then you almost want to have a top, because we're going to use that later after we're done with this. So just keep making these fans here, and we'll go from there. But yeah, after I was 24 and I created Lonely World, man, when I finished that, it felt so good, and I was like, well, I got to keep doing this. I got to keep doing this. And you know, my friends and family at the time, I was going through some tough times. I knew I wanted to keep doing it, and everyone was like, man, this is really good, you got to keep going. I was like, you know, I want to see what people who don't know me think about this. And there was those weekly events, and I was living in San Diego at the time. There were those weekly farmers markets year round. I mean, every city from up and down the coast, from Imperial Beach up to Oceanside, had a farmers market. You could do as many farmers markets as you wanted. And I was like, I was working at Carl Strauss at the time. It was a brewery. And in the restaurant industry, I mean, like 25, 30 hours is full time, because you're only working, you know, some night shifts and day shifts, and you can pick up. I had a lot of free time when I was working at the brewery there, and I was really trying to focus on myself, get my get my head right. And so these farmers markets were really jumping out at me. I used to go to them a lot. I loved the atmosphere. I loved just the people and the food and checking out the artwork. So I was like, you know what? I want to see what people who don't know me think about my artwork. So I drew. I continued to draw and continued to develop my style, you know, creating the main image. And then when I had about 5 or 6 pieces, I did my first show at the Sunset Market in Oceanside, and man, I was so nervous. I had my tables. I didn't know anything about the industry. I didn't know anyone, no one to help me, no one to ask questions, no one to show me, you know, what I need to bring. I literally brought a table and I went to Kinko's, or it was FedEx, or yeah, Kinko's, and I think it's FedEx Kinko's now, but it was just Kinko's at the time, and they printed me my prints that I had. And so I brought those in like a box, and people would come up and they would buy a print, and I would just hand them a piece of paper like, here you go. And they're like, you don't have a bag or anything? I'm like, no, I didn't know I need one. I mean, I was so raw. I was 24 and I did not know what I was doing. But that night I made like $100 and I was stoked. I was like, this is awesome. People actually bought my art. I was selling my prints for like 20 bucks. I sold like 5 or 6 pieces, you know, and I kept doing it, and I was making more and more money. I had more and more prints, and next thing you know, I quit Karl Strauss, and I was doing 5 weekly farmers markets. I mean, that year alone, I did like over 300 shows. The first 2 years, I actually did over 300 shows, because I knew, I was like, hey, if I'm gonna do this full time, I have to at least have 5 shows to be able to make this work and do it full time. So I was doing shows everywhere from Ocean Beach, Huntington Beach, Del Mar, La Jolla. I pretty much had my routine. So as you can see, I've kind of finished this. It just is gonna be a bunch of random, it's not gonna look pretty at this point, but once you finish this, this is where the part that I enjoy the most. That's probably painstaking for some of you, but that's okay. This one is, again, we're stepping it up. So this one is called the fans. This is where we're gonna start making our fans. So we're gonna find the corner, okay? And then that's where we're gonna start going down. From the top, we're gonna go down. And so we're gonna do that in every section. Is once you find that corner, or where you want it to go, see how there's a corner there, try to find that middle so you could bring them down. And then you're just gonna keep going, okay? So we will find that corner where you want the fan to go down, and then you just go all the way around that bubble that we had. And as you see, as you keep creating it, it's just gonna kind of create these little fans that I used to call them. So, you know, you can make these look really nice, or you can kind of go fast like I'm going. I'm definitely kind of flying through this compared to what we typically do. This is so that we can keep things moving. I know some of you might be on a time schedule, or some of you are already way ahead of me, but that's okay. Go at your own pace. Find your medium or your middle. So on this one, you could kind of see there's a lot going on this one. There's a lot of different ways you can. Yes, you definitely can, but I'm gonna use this one right here instead of these 4 corners. Some are gonna have those 4 corners, and that's okay. So I'm gonna use that one as my bottom, and then I'm just gonna go down and boom. And you can kind of see how it all comes together. Same thing right here. I'm gonna use that one as my corner, because then I also know these ones are coming up here. I'm gonna move this and see how it just comes together, and we're starting to fill that whole pattern up with these tiny little fans. So hopefully you're on this part here after you're done making the little bubbles. Now you're gonna go on the inside and you're gonna fill. So take your time. You don't have to rush. There's nothing, you know, all you could do is just play some music. A lot of people ask me, what do I do? Or, when I'm drawing, what am I using? There's sometimes where I like it dead silent. Sometimes I just like the white noise, and I just like the sound of the whatever's going outside, or the pen stroke actually moving, or just you can actually hear yourself think a little bit, which is nice. But there's other times where I want some music. I want to feel it, I want to put on, I listen to a little bit of everything. Growing up in the Bay Area, I used to listen to a lot of, rap and hip hop. As I got older, I like, I really like a little bit of everything, the classics. My wife got me into country music. We also do a lot of shows now at country concerts, so country jam. So I have seen a lot of country concerts in person, and got to know a lot of those names as far as, the music and all that. So it really just depends what you're in the mood for. TV, a movie in the background. There are some movies that I watch, and I can pretty much, I don't even have to be the movie could be going on behind me, and I could pretty much watch it in my head as it's going, while I do this, which sometimes I like to do. But you just find your time. I mean, whether you're doing it before bed, for me, pretty much after the kids go to school, if I'm able to get a couple hours in after doing, my business stuff, that's when I like to draw, is in the morning. Towards the end of the day, it's a little draining for me. And with this style of medium, if you're not into it, it's very easy to make a mistake. Again, with the pens, because they do take anywhere, depending on the color too. Each color can take longer to dry. Like red is a very sensitive color. Red takes longer to dry than, the blacks and some of the other ones. And also which brand. I use about 5 or 6 different brands at least, Staples has a pack of 100, gel pens. Michaels has some. The Sakura, I use them all. If I see that it says gel pen, I grab it. I've tried getting off of them. When I was in middle school, there was the girl who was drawing those pens. Her name was Samantha Sakura, and I started using some of those pens, and I just never was able to get off of them. And in high school, I saw another girl who was actually using one of the pens, and I used that, and that's where the classroom notes, if you've seen that one that I was showing earlier, or you could go on my TED Talk or online, and you can see that when I was 15. That was back in 1999. I tried getting off those pens just because I know that was something a lot of the girls were using in middle school and high school. I don't know if they still are, but they were very popular when I was a kid. They would write every line on the paper a different color. But hands down, those are the best pens on the market, gel pens for me. Each brand is going to give you different colors. There's not one brand that has all the colors I like, or just the way how smooth they are. The Sakura Jelly Roll, those are my favorite pens to use. I would love to one day have my own pen line, because I could break down a pen very nicely, and there's some things that I like about each of them. It'd be nice to wrap all those into one. But yeah, you just find your medium, find what works. Some people like Sharpies, some people like paint pens, some people like pencil. You just got to find what works for you. If I don't like using pencil if I don't have to, like outlining like this right here, and you'll see that in some of my pieces that you'll like raising the flag later on. That will be in the final lesson of you actually seeing one of my pieces come together. You will see some light pencil outline of what the main image is or hidden details, so I have somewhat of a plan when I'm working around that area. but I try to go straight to pin as soon as I can, just so I don't have to double up my time, because it already takes up time. As you can see, this one pattern alone, I mean, this one we've been working on for a while, and this one will take, you know, use some time. So just kind of get ready when you're working with some of these more intricate patterns. They do take time, and you know, we have a couple more we're going to work on that it's going to get a little more complicated, but you'll also see that there are some that are really easy. And so some people like to do a lot of the easier ones or create their own patterns as you go on. You know, when I'm doing my doodles, I like to have like a light pattern next to a darker pattern. This is more like a medium, so you could kind of see light, medium, and dark. So I've even played with some shading in the patterns. I don't like to do a dark pattern like right next to each other, because then your eyes almost go to there. So trying to find different depths of patterns when you're creating the artwork from afar to look like something, you know, it takes time to kind of learn that. But that's where, I mean, just working on your pattern work, seeing what patterns are easier and don't take as long and aren't going to have as heavy of a color to it, will really help when we're later on in the lesson. Because yeah, you don't want to sit here and do this pattern again next to the other one. I mean, maybe you do, but you know, there's so many other patterns you can do or create, or you know, just look around the classroom or the room you're in and find something and turn it into a pattern. That's where I've pretty much gotten a lot of these from, just randomly, is doing that. So we just finished the fans. So the fan for number 3, we got 1, 2, and 3 done, and we're gonna jump on 4. So keep it going, take your time. Let's go to number 4 now.